Good morning. So I'm Amy Keller, co-founder of PurePlus. We're a startup that illuminates the power of fruits and vegetables in a way, the way I look at it is that we're trying to restore the health of people and the planet. So this rings true. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you found out why. So let's start with my family background in sugar. My grandfather ran Spangler Candy Company. So a lollipop, a dum-dum, was the norm in my household. Later in life, I focused on the environment. I worked on Live Earth with Kevin Wall and Al Gore, leading into the COP21, where 193 world leaders signed the Paris Climate Change Treaty. Also, I'm a 7-time Ironman triathlete and an ultra marathoner. So obviously, nutrition is a very important part of my sport. So I went on a life-changing journey to the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Yes, I know we're close to Antarctica down here, but I was closest you could get to the North Pole, near the Arctic Circle. While there, I decided to learn about food security and dedicate my life to creating a company that could do just that, illuminate the power of fruits and vegetables for the health of people and the planet. While traveling to Svalbard, I happened to be reading Paul Hawken's book, Drawdown. I don't know if any of you have read it. It's a fabulous book that focuses on the top 100 things you can do around climate change. Number 3 on that list, food waste. This picture is of the back end of a processing plant for vegetables. So if you ever wonder why you have never seen a crooked carrot in your grocery store, this is why. Vegetables are ruthlessly sorted to conform to quality standards set by our food chain, and this is the result. Per Hawken, if 50% of food waste is reduced by 2050, avoided emissions could be 26 gigatons of carbon dioxide. So, food waste, global problem, obviously. So I started my research further after returning back from Svalbard. What I realized is the magnitude of food waste is shocking. So imagine purchasing 3 bags of groceries. And while driving home, toss half of 1 bag on the roadside. This represents the loss that we see that occurs during harvest, processing, and distribution. Now, once you arrive home, throw the other half in the bin. This represents what we see from a retail and consumer side. Buy 3, get 2. Welcome to our food system. All we need to do is get that 3rd bag of groceries safely to our home and onto our plate. When we waste less, we'll feed more. Food waste is a market inefficiency that kind that you have not seen in any other industry. The food waste causes are many. Everything from spoilage to transportation, economic limitation, but the result is the needless waste at a time of starvation. In reality, we produce enough food to feed 10 billion people, everyone today, and everyone expected by 2050. Yet people are still hungry. It's hard to imagine so much waste of something so valuable in our modern and connected world. So when we look at food waste and say 40% of our food is wasted and 50% are fruits and vegetables, let's look at bananas. They're the most widely consumed fruit in the world, and for good reason. Bananas help lower blood pressure and reduce risks of cancer and asthma. Yet there's one problem. Bananas were wasted more than any other product by weight, and they also have the highest climate impact. We can help save the planet by putting these fruits and vegetables to use and keeping these nutrition molecules intact. Let's dive deeper. So India produces 28% of bananas, yet they represent 0.3% of all internationally traded bananas. So with an improved cold chain and technology, the number of bananas exported could be from 4,000 containers to 190,000 containers. And that could mean 100,000 more jobs. And on top of that, 34,000 smallholder farms could benefit. That would be quite an impact on India's farmers and their economy. So there's two very different kinds of problems associated with food loss: structural and also economic. When I look at those elements, I say, okay, on the structural side, we've got bad weather, poor roads, poor packaging. We have distribution problems. Well, that can all be addressed from more careful planning, political will, and sufficient investment. And then there are problems that are economic and cultural. You have food too expensive to be purchased and rot in the warehouse. You have food too unprofitable to harvest, and that gets lost in the field. Meal servings that are twice the size for people to digest, and they get partially discarded. A perfectly edible apple with harmless spots, or a carrot that's too crooked, might be tossed in a landfill if there's cheap and perfect alternatives. So food companies and farmers play a role. We simply can't all adopt a healthy diet under the current global agricultural system. We produce too much fat, too much sugar, too many starches. At a global level, there's a mismatch between what we should be eating and what we're producing. So, reducing food waste. We're looking at the fact that growing food requires a huge amount of the world's resources. You look at land use, deforestation, food processing, packaging, distribution. Global agriculture can be anywhere from 40 to 50% of greenhouse gases. Whatever the number, it's reducing agriculture's global footprint from harvest to waste. That's what's compelling. And it's a way to reduce carbon emissions. Wasting less food represents a key opportunity to address climate change. This is the only climate action that unlocks solutions for hunger, nutrition, water scarcity, economic expansion, and national security. What if the lowest hanging fruit in solving world hunger and micronutrient deficiencies turned out to be fruits and vegetables? While they don't provide the caloric impact of cereals, fruits and vegetables address the micronutrient deficiencies of hidden hunger. The 2019 Lancet Commission report that came out from the EAT Forum in Stockholm, Sweden, found that eating more than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day can reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, cancer, early death. The report also indicated that by 2050, we need to reduce food waste by 50% and eat 100% more fruits and vegetables if we're going to have a population of over 9 billion people. So just 1 in 10 people in the world eat the fruit and vegetable recommendations that they need. As a result, people are missing out on the essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber that fruits and vegetables provide. There's a need to identify and address the barriers to fruit and vegetable consumption, whether it be high cost, limited access and availability, perceived lack of cooking and preparation time. Also, 50% of people take a multivitamin every day. Per Tufts study that came out yesterday, they found that vitamin supplements don't help people live longer and are more harm than good. So in the end, while certain nutrients may contribute to a longer life, they need to come from food sources. So you can't undo the effects of a bad diet by taking a supplement. Food is your medicine, yet we're overfed but undernourished, calorie-rich but nutrient-poor. At a time when 800 million people around the globe don't get enough to eat, and 1.9 billion people weigh too much, it's important to remember that hunger and obesity are both forms of malnutrition. And the costs are staggering. Worldwide, malnutrition is $3.5 trillion annually, with overweight and obesity-related non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. That's another $2 trillion. So, how food is produced, what is consumed, and how much is lost or wasted all heavily shape the health of people on the planet. Closing the gap of the paradox of abundance requires 3 steps. 1, reducing poverty to make food affordable. 2, reducing loss and waste to make food available to more people. And 3, helping consumers recognize food as a precious resource to begin to repair one of the most broken segments of our food supply chain. There's a new category called earth functional foods, food that provides environmental benefits beyond health. And with 3 to 5 billion new consumers coming online in the next 6 years, they represent trillions of dollars coming into the global economy. And they also represent an amazing resource for innovation. A new generation of customers are demanding more social consciousness from the brands they buy. There's also a rising demand for sustainable consumer products today. 45% of people say they'll switch from their favorite brands if they aren't doing something to measure their product's carbon footprint. And since the biggest consumer packaged goods brands only spend 1 to 5% of their budgets on research and development, that means innovation is being led by startups, not incumbents. So, after all the research on food waste, climate change, and health, we created an earth functional foods company. PurePlus creates plant-based powders from upcycled fruits and vegetables to add to products. We use fruits and vegetables that otherwise would go to waste, and that come directly from the salad bowl of the West Coast of the US, from Washington State to California. We solve the nutritional challenges of the consumer with these vital nutrients in our first product, delivering 1 serving of fruits and vegetables in each of the single delivery items that we have. PurePlus is inside foods, adding vital nutrients, just like Intel is inside computers, making them more powerful and faster. We're a triple bottom line company that makes fruit and vegetable powder for the benefit of people and the planet. We value a transparent supply chain and measure success from the well-being of our employees, our producers, and the resilience of our ecosystems that produce our core ingredients. Our model. We start with the food waste source. Partners focus on full harvest instead of leaving 20% behind. Second, we choose the most climate impactful, nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables. Third, we only partner with manufacturers with drying processes that keep the nutrition molecules intact and are energy efficient. PurePlus delivers fruits and vegetable servings through their products, and we distribute our products through our suppliers. We are facing an era where humanity will shed those brands whose products do not solve a need, fail to commit to fix a cause, and fall short to fuel movements to bring people together. We're partnering with 2 and other nonprofit organizations through our 1-for-1 program so we can bring this into the most vulnerable communities that are in need of this resource. Food will be the defining issue of the 21st century. Unlocking its potential will catalyze the achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Now let's figure out how we can all work together towards this goal. First, we must start by addressing production and distribution, because that's where 2/3 of all food waste occurs. Fruits and vegetables, as you know now, that's a half of the food that is wasted, that isn't consumed. All perishable foods need basic refrigeration, but it turns out that only 10% of perishable foods are refrigerated worldwide. If developing countries had the same level of technologies for transportation and storage as developed, approximately 1/4 of food loss would be avoided. Technology providers must develop energy efficient and affordable solutions so that farmers and distributors have access and can save crops during transportation. PurePlus, we focus on the dryers and the technologies for our manufacturers, and we want to make sure that we're keeping those nutrition molecules intact, and in that process, we're having 3 to 4 years of shelf life stability with these fruits and vegetables. Second, we need improved basic food safety standards. This approach would ensure more food is made safe for consumption. Higher standards would also extend food supplies and prevent waste by encouraging more food preservation techniques and technologies like the dryer technology that we're utilizing. Third, we should focus on consumers. In developing countries, they tend to buy too much and throw it away, or serve too much and discard too much. Changing this behavior can be done through education and awareness. For PurePlus, we'll be building a global social impact campaign on the need for consumption of fruits and vegetables leading into the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympic Games next year. The result of all these strategies is that more people can be fed, nutrition will improve, and there will be far less stress on our agricultural resources, urban landfills, and global environment. By using our current system more efficiently, we can feed the world's population today and tomorrow. This is the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to solving the puzzle of food loss and waste. Thank you so much.